we have the current stock market update for AST Space Mobile Incorporated, stock ticker ASTS. Before we begin with today's chart analysis, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts below in the comments section so that other traders can find this information more easily on the platform. So what we're going to be looking at here is a bit of a longer term view. The share price itself has seen a bit of a major price movement since the middle of May. There are some strategic partnerships that appear to be in the works with AT&T and Verizon. So this could help, the broader outlook for the company. But there are some red flags as far as recent earnings figures. For example, the earnings per share figure looks a bit worrisome, and the net income figure looks a bit worrisome. We're seeing some fairly substantial declines on both a quarterly basis and an annualized basis. For example, even just the earnings per share figure has decreased by more than 216% just since the prior quarter. So there is a bit of a mixed outlook here, but we are seeing a fairly substantial share price movement, and these strategic partnerships with Verizon and AT&T are obviously positive for the company. So I think that when you're dealing with something like this, that what you have to sort of do is really pay a lot of attention to the price charts themselves, because when you're seeing this amount of price volatility, the only real asset that you're going to have at this point is going to be the chart itself. So recently, we can see here that this most recent rally began right around the middle of May, and share prices moved from very, very low territory here, roughly $2.30, all the way to close to being $40 per share. So this is a massive run higher in a very short period of time. And this would have occurred, this prior high would have occurred right around August 20th. So, this is a lot of upside price movement. We have started to retrace some of this here, and it does look like the stock might be trying to form a bit of a double bottom here. Right around that 50% retracement zone. So you do at the moment have a little bit of price support here, historical price support that is forming right around that 50% retracement level, as well as this 200 period exponential moving average. So we could start to see some support here. I mean, it does look as though this downside momentum is starting to wane a bit. But I wouldn't really consider buying something like this until there's better evidence that a bottom is in place. So, there's a lot of two-way price action here. And this is the type of chart that really is vulnerable, to two-way price volatility. So currently, that main price level that I would be watching to the downside as far as support would come in right around 2190. So if we do see further losses here, that would definitely suggest that this major decline here has not yet completed itself. And we have already broken through most of the exponential moving averages back down to the downside after breaking through them to the upward direction here, in the upward direction. So the sort of last line in the sand as far as the exponential moving averages are concerned would be found at this 200 period EMA, which comes in right almost exactly at $20 per share. So, there could be some support here near term, but, I personally would want to wait to see more evidence that a bottom is in place before looking into buying a stock like this. The indicator reading at the moment on these 4-hour timeframes here is trading right around the midpoint. So there really isn't much of a signal there that can be considered useful. But what we really can see here is that, this positive momentum that ran previously has now, it appears to be over. This trend movement in the positive direction, this momentum reading here suggests that price movement to the top side has now completed itself. So, with these earnings figures the way that they are, the massive declines that we've been seeing here, you can balance this out with the fact that there's now some involvement with the two major players in the telecom industry. That's Verizon and AT&T. Those are positives sort of out, being balanced against negatives. And I really do think that, the chart at this point is your best friend, because this is what's going to determine, whether or not the stock has actually found a bottom here. I think that the stock is probably at a fairly significant inflection point, because I think that if we start to drop below $20 per share, I think that the downside price movement could quite possibly be substantial. I mean, there's a lot of room there to the downside to extend in the lower direction. And there really isn't much support here to be had. I mean, you could make the argument that, there's a little bit of price support right around $17 per share, I suppose. You could sort of look at this area here. This was a bit of a slowdown point, a bit of a consolidation zone after the stock really started to make its major run higher here. So, we sort of moved upward into this area, and then there was a period of sideways consolidation. So that's a bit encouraging to see something like that. And then we saw another massive, kind of run here to the top side. So, I would really be looking at this $20 per share here area. I would be looking to see if share prices are really able to generate some support right around there, because currently you are looking at a double bottom support zone. But if this breaks, I do feel like follow through here could be fairly significant. So the real question at this point is whether or not this has found a bottom. And I think that one way to make that determination would be to look at sort of these near-term resistance levels. We're sort of running right into a downtrend line here. I mean, if we're able to break above this downtrend line, for example, and then really, I'd be looking at probably roughly 2650. I mean, I think that if we break above 2650, I think that would then be your evidence that that a bottom is now in place, and that share prices can sort of sustain themselves and maintain a foothold above that $20 mark. But I think you're looking at a bit of a range here at the moment, and I do think it's a bit indecisive because the price movement initially was so strong in one direction that the possibility here for somewhat equal declines, or at least substantial declines, does still remain a very real possibility. So I personally would be waiting for a bit more evidence of a bottom to be forming here, just because there has been so much share price movement in the downside direction. We quickly broke through the 23.6 and 38.2% Fibonacci retracements. It looks like we're trying to find some support here around that 50% retracement. And then from there, there's a bit of a support zone that could develop right around, roughly $16.30 to around $17. So I think that if you break below, $20 per share, I think that you're looking at the very least a retest of around $16.50 to $17. But then if you do see a break of roughly $26.50, I think that that's your clue that a longer term bottom is actually in place. Here's the current stock market update for AST SPACEMOBILE Incorporated, stock ticker ASTS. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership, and start trading stocks with the pros.